Welcome, of course, to the first ever weekly ESPL series hosted by Eat, Sleep, Play, casted by yours truly, the lovely Briefcase, and the illustrious Mito, who has just been recently moving, supposedly has the swankiest pad in Taipei, was it?
Yeah.
In Taipei.
Yeah, so... But do I consider myself a golden bachelor? Maybe. Come and see.
Maybe, well, yeah. A little trip down Taiwan way might be in my future. We shall see.
Yep. Sweet. And today we'll be looking at two teams facing off for a chance to qualify for the ESPL main event, which will be held at the end of this season on March 30th, with a base prize pool of $5,000, and 50% of the ticket revenues will be added on top. The winner of the weekly ESPL qualifiers will get a handsome prize of $100 along with league points to be awarded to the 1st through 8th place. The top 6 teams with the highest league points, along with 2 professional teams, will be invited into the ESPL main event later this year.
Yes, indeedy. So some nice prizes there, of course, and I think, what is it, like $100 a week, and of course if you're in first place, so nice there as well. Little constant incentives. And these first bans, I should say, what do you think about this bristleback ban? This seems really unnecessary to me, and the only thing I can really think of as to why you would ban out bristle is if you know somebody really wants to play them on the opposing team, but it seems like that's a hero who you don't see banned unless he's going to throw in a massive wrench into some plan you have already going.
Yes, they want Ricky Maru. Want Ricky Maru. Or is it Ricky Maru?
I just say Ricky. You don't have to worry about the hard one. You don't need to think about what it might be. Just say Ricky, everything's good. But now, of course, Weaver and Abaddon being picked up, an incredibly annoying dual lane. Just impossible to deal with, I feel.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, it's so annoying to deal with them. Oh my goodness.
5 seconds remaining.
And it gives nothing away. You know that's gonna be a dual lane, and
Reserve time.
I think this is a great time to pick up a Lich. Want to play dual lane versus dual lane? Sure, we're gonna grab a Lich. Gonna have creeps. You're gonna be wasting your time.
But now a Mirana actually being picked up. Will make Clockwork's life at least a little bit easier. Now we're on to that second ban stage. Banning a Viper of all things. I mean, he's very strong in the mid, obviously, but I mean, do you think you ban out Viper to make room for a particular mid hero? Like, they banned out Bristleback, so Riki is still in the pool, but the Bristleback ban is still really throwing me off. I mean, you get Riki against him, and that's horrible, but like, is there anything else that he really denies or puts a wrench into? He loves constant team fights, or I should say just constant fighting, and nice slow fights, so I mean, who do you pick up, or why do you ban him? It just seems so odd to me.
Yeah, I'm baffled as well. I don't particularly understand why first ban material. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's a really popular pickup these days. I haven't been watching the past couple of weeks, and this is what I was expecting to see. As soon as you see the Viper ban, right, it just feels like OD was gonna be the go-to hero. But of course, you still have the Razor as a counter. A couple of days ago, I saw this draft. I played against this draft, and we lost. It's so disgusting. They picked up Viper as well as Razor, and during the laning phase, it just feels like there's nothing you can do. You just get crushed.
It looks like they've actually picked up a Kunkka to counter OD. Not going for the straight counter in a Razor. Probably doesn't fit into their lineup as much as they would have wanted to. But the Kunkka does fairly well against an OD for his troubles, of course. Doesn't need any mana to burst that Tidebringer all over him. And of course, OD way squishier than I think people think he is. He actually really has a very low HP pool early on until he kind of gets mech and can tank through things. But I mean, Kunkka should be fair and A-okay against him in the mid lane. Unless they send a Dragon Knight.
Was... Ooh. Mind games, man. But I've always felt OD was pretty tanky hero to begin with. I think it starts out with 4 armor. I'm not too sure. I'm gonna go take a look. Or even more. Outworld, Devourer, Dota 2. Just
But-
quickly jumping on the Dota 2 wiki.
Yeah, go ahead. But now this Radiant team, obviously, they've picked up a Dragon Knight. Gonna be playing a little bit of lane chicken, I feel, with the Kunkka. And they did finally pick up a Lich, like you said.
Radiant team banned.
And I think a good pickup, you send them against the Weaver Abaddon, at least make them not get too much out of the lane with the constant sacrificing. And so far, this is a very blue-looking lineup for the Hornet's Nest.
Yeah, and just to give you a little bit of an idea of how strong OD is at level 1, he moves at 315 movement speed.
All right,
He starts out with 511 HP.
that's
He has
pitiful.
5.36 armor.
So he does have quite a bit of armor.
High armor.
High armor, not going to mean anything against Tidebringer. It's all
I've
pure.
always felt a hero starting out with 511 HP as a intel hero is pretty decent. Well, it's not the best, but it's not bad. Maybe I'm wrong.
I suppose we shall see. Only time will tell, obviously, and especially, well, we're only really going to see it if Kunkka actually gets put up against OD. They can always send a Dragon Knight mid who will fare, I mean, pretty much. Who would you give that matchup to? Kunkka and Dragon Knight, they feel so
Kunkka.
similar in that they just kind of can sit in lane and live there.
Kunkka will have the upper hand at level 7, but early game is going to be pretty
10
even.
seconds remaining.
But yeah, this is mind-boggling. I think it's going to be a save lane Dragon Knight. I wouldn't put the Dragon Knight up against the Kunkka personally. But yeah, Dragon Knight can... these two heroes, they come very close. It really depends on who plays better. But because I like Kunkka more, I'm going to say Kunkka. But I think a lot of it comes down to rune control more than anything else. Dragon Knight, if you get good runes, you can outplay Kunkka easily, and vice versa. But Dragon Knight will have the easier rune control because the nature of his skill sets. Breathe Fire is just gonna kill the creeps faster. Why is it called Breathe Fire and not like Dragon Breath or something?
Yeah, or Fire Breath. Very odd.
We're gonna have...
Ooh.
This is good. This is good. You're gonna have two dual lanes. Wow. Shadow Demon Kunkka combo.
I mean, this could go very nicely for them, I feel. Shadow Demon, if he actually gets paired up with something like a Clockwork, just guaranteed cogs.
I'm gonna make some predictions after we talk about who's playing what. And I think I'm gonna get this game correctly. Well, apparently they're not picking the heroes, so I'm just gonna go ahead with my predictions.
Shoot up.
I think the Dire team's gonna have the upper hand at the beginning of the game. Alright, let's talk about who's playing who, and I'll continue afterwards.
Alright, you can continue waxing on about what you think is going to happen. We got Foxter, going to be playing up as that Mirana. Twatty Cake, actually, going to be the Kunkka. Poning Claw, once again, as the Clockwork. Carrag, going to be the Shadow Demon. With Varkarian playing the Frosty Lich. And, Mito, you want to take these Radiant fellas?
Yeah, before we do that, I want to special mention to the courier. It's called Captain Karag and not Captain Bamboo. Yep, okay, so on the Radiant side we have Savvy playing the Weaver, Phonix playing the offlane Abaddon. So it is going to be a dual lane as we expected. In the same lane we have Snuggykins playing the Dragon Knight and he's going to be the main carry. We have the Kruger playing the Rain Ranger as support. And we have a pretty pimped out Final playing as the mid solo Atwell
30
Devourer.
seconds to battle.
Yeah, some nice wings on him there.
Yeah, so back to Captain Karag. That's a pretty cute courier.
Oh, very, very cute indeed. So, your predictions early on, Mito, what do you think? Who's going to have the upper hand?
I think the Dire
do go
teams-
on.
I think the Dire team's gonna have the upper hand, but they switch up the lanes. This wasn't what I was expecting. I was expecting like Shadow Demon, Kunkka dual mid, but nah, they decided to dual mid with different heroes. Actually, no, they're switching things up again. So it's gonna be a mid solo Clockwork up against Atwell Devourer. Oh, if this is the case, I think that the Radiant team is gonna slowly and eventually come up on top. Yeah. Because if you look at the Dire team, right, they don't have as much late game potential, but at the same time, the heroes can't really get the push going. So unless they get really good start and punish the Radiant team for having so many carries, so many greedy heroes, and which I don't think is going to be the case, then eventually the Radiant team with so many core heroes are just gonna farm up and come out on top. I think we should make predictions, then like make bets for every game. And we like you can bet on Radiant or Dire, and you can bet for one common item each.
I'm into that. Very, very down.
Sweet.
Okay.
Okay, so
Bets need to be made before first blood. I'm gonna bet that the. God, I want to say that the Dire team is gonna
engagement
make
at bottom.
Doesn't matter. Arrow does not even fly. He's actually got leap first, going for the defensive thing, despite the fact that Carrig has that disruption. And Bone and Claw actually doing very well in the mid for himself. Got a Cogs and battery onto final.
Yeah, it's not gonna do too much, but like I've tested out many times. Clockwork can solo kill OD once they're both level 6. Yep. So
Who do you
what's the
think?
prediction gonna be? The first blood hasn't happened.
I want underdogs. Personally, I think that this Radiant draft is probably greedier than the Dire draft, and as we've seen, at least in that last game, there's usually enough room to farm up in these games to kind of get all of your core items on all of your core heroes. So I feel like the Radiant team's gonna win it, but I'm gonna go for the bet on the underdog, and I feel like the Dire team, I want them to win, so I'm gonna do that. It's one common item. I'm okay with that.
Okay, let's amp it up to one mythical rare.
No.
You like underdogs. I like winning, so we get even trade.
True, could be, but still, I don't know. Snuggykin's actually taking quite a bit of harass down here. He doesn't have a stout shield, instead going for that quelling blade to try and make sure he gets all that farm. And it's actually, we have an engagement up top. Sabi trying to make Varkarian just take a little bit of too much damage there. Phonix doing fine for himself as well, and it just looks like the Lich and Twatty Cake, despite how much harass can come out of this lane, not able to deal with the constant shields and miscoils that Abaddon can throw onto Weaver.
Yeah, this is a tough lane for the I team at top. Getting constantly harassed. Actually, it's pretty even, because Valkyrian can keep constantly throw harassment as well. He's got 2 level into sacrifice. He can just constantly use that Frost Blast. It looks like Valkyrian's going to be in trouble if he's not careful.
It sure does. Okay, prediction.
Untimely pause.
I think Varkarian's going to get out of this one
Prediction,
alive.
prediction.
There is a torrent that Twatty has
Wait.
available and might
Are
be
we
able to
gonna have
save his
another bet?
buddy. But, I mean, Varkarian damn low.
Alright, let's see. So this torrent has to be on the spot, and it's gonna be 4 seconds before the Frost Blast is off cooldown. Phonix has a miscoil. So, what do you reckon is gonna happen?
Well, I mean, the Aphotic Shield that's already on the Weaver, if that torrent does pop, that's going to be obviously popping all over Varkarian. So, I mean, that's like another 75 damage. If Miscoil lands, it's like 150. Weaver's got 63, so he needs to pretty much get 1 or 2 hits, and I think he'll be able to actually do that. So, I'm gonna say Varkarian's gonna fall, just because I don't have complete confidence that Twatty Cake will land this torrent.
All right,
Very difficult to
I'm
do
just
against a
gonna type
Weaver.
in all chat. First blood. First blood.
Oh, do it up. Like Shadow Demon finally getting back into this game, and hopefully, well, I mean, I shouldn't say hopefully, but this is looking to be a little bit of a first blood going on. 1, and where's the torrent? Sabi's all over him. Couldn't actually get him with the Sakuchi. There it is. Not getting the damage. Actually lands on Phonix.
No.
And now Sabi in a little bit of a
Yes,
bad
first
spot.
blood.
They still see this.
First-
They still
why-
see him
why-
though.
why?
Why didn't he hit him? What's going on? Why didn't he go right for the throat?
I
Varkarian
don't
running
know.
in gets
Why?
the first blood actually. So not what we expected at all. Phonix now actually still kind of in a dicey spot. Varkarian chasing him down, but it looks like he will. And
there's
Shadow
engagement
Demon.
at bottom at the same time.
That's right. It looks like they
Wow.
land that disruption and arrow combo onto the Dragon Knight, and I mean, they didn't take care of the Weaver, they took care of the Dragon Knight instead, so I think I should say, that's both for the Dire team, never mind, this Dire team pulling off to an early lead. It looks like I might get myself 1 common item.
Oh wow. That was shocking, but at least we still said the right thing. First blood at top.
That's true. We always got that going for us, as long as you can cover your bets with that. And Shadow Demon Mirana not able to find that kill on bottom before. Ooh, some good predictions. And it actually looks like Poning Claws getting whatever runes he ever wants. And if we look at the last hits, he's actually doing fairly well against OD, doing great, keeping him low on the HP, constant rocket spam, doing very well for him. And if you can get him in a Cogs, pretty much as soon as Poning Claws hits 6, I'd be really scared to be final. Arrow flies, actually hits Kruger. Max! That not a max range one, but nonetheless, Foxter not going to be falling to Snuggykins anytime soon, and now Snuggykins actually needing to run away, so this Dire team picking up kills left and right. You better be scared for that common item, my friend.
Hey, I did say the Dire team's gonna have the upper hand during the early stages of the game. I'm not too worried.
Now it looks like Twatty Cake's actually in a very scary spot. Bugs on him. He's not getting out of this one alive. So, of course, that very scary lane. Weaver Abaddon finding the kill of their own. Looks like Varkarian not quite level 6 yet. Does have a sentry, however, to kind of make Sabi a little bit scared of engaging. Once he does get that Chain Frost, you always feel so safe against Chain Frost as Weaver, but throwing down a sentry, actually, kind of odd. And now it looks like Phonix, actually, he really does want this ward down. That might have been a little bit too ballsy. There's an X marks the spot on Twatty. Torrent lands, and now Phonix, his life for one sentry ward, not worth it at all.
Oh, definitely not. Yeah. Now, you know what has been shocking to me? Like, how well Poning Claws has been doing at mid. He is 6 minutes, he still has, what, 17 last hits. OD is barely ahead. I don't know if it's a bad player coming out of final, or is it Poning Claws? His clockwork is just that amazing. Or maybe a bit of both.
Not too sure, but Kara giving him all the rune control he would ever want, picking up a double damage rune now, and Kruger and Snuggykins really far forward with a clockwork that's got DD. He actually doesn't have even the possibility of a hook, though. He doesn't even have the mana for Cogs, having to bottle to get a Cogs in. Some nice RNG onto Kruger. They do find a Snuggykins, and that's really the hero you want to take down. So this Radiant team now, if we look at the gold graph, up to about 2,000 gold lead, none too bad. 2,500 experience lead for their troubles. And Kruger now, Poning Claws wants this so badly, he finally gets his mana back. That Astral Imprisonment, he's finally got his 10 intelligence back just in time to get that hook shot. And Lich and Twatty Cakes finding a pickoff of their own up top for their troubles. This Abaddon, still level 4. That shield not soaking up as much damage as he liked, can't borrow time his way to safety. And this Dire team coming out to a nice early lead. You did predict this, however.
Wow, it wasn't just one kill. The Weaver also died. Like, it was 2 kills.
Oh, really? I didn't. Ooh.
Surprisingly. And now that's level 7 Lich. Yeah, so it's pretty darn scary. If you look at the gold and XP graph, even 7 minutes into the game, it's already in huge favor in the direction of the Dire team.
And now with all of these heroes actually getting some nice items there, you got Mirana having this power tread. She's got her little ring of Basilius, Pounding Claws. He's got his phase boots. I mean, do you think they can continue locking down everybody? You got Carrig up top now. He's healing up Twatty Cakes. There is no torrent on him available at the moment, but it looks like we're gonna have a port in from Mirana, and they're trying to set up a gank, of course. The perfect setup with this disruption onto Sabi. Might be able to find a Phonix. Is there an arrow in time? The arrow flies, actually goes in between both of them. And now Sabi gonna get out of here with his life, it looks like. Where is the X marks the spot? They can't quite see him anymore, and of course, that haste invisibility of Shikuchi gonna guarantee he gets out of here. But you actually have Poning Claws running around back, trying to make something happen. Doesn't quite have enough for a hook, but at least scaring them even farther back behind this tower, and they rightly do kind of just hug it and stay as close to the trees as humanly possible.
It's so funny what the Astral Imprisonment does to clockwork. Like, oh, I'm gonna go in for the hook. Wait, I don't have any mana. He never has enough mana.
It's just enough now to try and get a little combo off, but not able to actually find the hook. And I mean, while this is a little bit funny for this Dire team, they were really kind of steamrolling earlier. I feel like it's tapered off now. They've lost a little bit of momentum, and that big rotation out of pretty much every hero up top, finding no kills, that is some wasted time. That's opening it up for Snuggykins, at least, to find some farm, as well as OD in the mid. Now it looks like they're going on Phonics. They do find it. Shackle goes, doesn't latch, however. Twatty Cakes might be able to still get out of this one alive. Sabi has been dusted, doesn't want to pursue this. So they do find a pickoff right under tower as well for their troubles, and now actually, will Poning Claws be able to find anybody here? Actually finds a Kruger. Is he going to be able to actually get him? Has to use the hook and the cogs as well. Kruger now in a very tough spot, and going to be falling for free by this Poning Claws, and Snuggykins falling as well to Foxer and Varkarian. So this Dire team playing very nicely, making that gold and experience lead just constantly higher in their favor. And Poning Claws so unlucky not getting that rune, but looks like he's not going to find any contestation for this bottom one, and he's going to get a free haste for his troubles. That might be another kill.
Yeah, just now, the Dire team made full potential of that Moonlight Shadow. Lich rotated bottom, Foxer TP'd in, landed a straight arrow, and just managed to pick off Snuggykins.
Snuggykins now might be getting arrowed once again. Arrow flying, max range, or I shouldn't say max, but it's long enough. It's long enough to burst that guy down, and now they're just finding these two heroes, Carrig and Foxter, they're just able to find every single pickoff they possibly can. Those guaranteed huge range arrows, 3, 4, 5 second stuns. I mean, just impossible to deal with, even for someone as tanky as a Dragon Knight. And now Twatty Cake's trying to make something happen on Savvy. Where's the boat? It does indeed land and finds him. Gets a solo kill for his troubles. While that's all happening, a big Chain Frost. Varkarian trying to make something happen. But they are able to split up in time. But now Kruger getting chased down by Poning Claws. And it does indeed get out of there in time. The Cog's not able to actually finish him off. Just throws out a rocket flare. It flies. Where is it? Actually is not able to find Kruger, who was hiding in these trees.
Wow. Well, I am a little surprised at how far the Dire team has ripped apart the Radiant's lineup.
Ooh, Foxter going around trying to get an arrow. Snuggykins knows it's going there. Now Carrig in a horrible spot, but that what is it? Starfire? Star Storm actually doing a lot of work. Kruger does land the shackle, but it's not very long, and Foxter, of course, now trying to get out of this. Carrig is here with the Purge, and it looks like Snuggykins gonna fall now. Does indeed. Kruger in a horrible spot. Needs to get out of here. Doesn't really have the HP to sustain in here, and it looks like Foxter and Carrig, I mean, they're getting low. They're making, I shouldn't say misplays, but things are not going exactly their way every time, and they're still able to turn it around.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Yes.
Phonics really needs that level 6, otherwise he's gonna keep dying.
Oh!
Suicide? That was a good suicide.
Beautiful little deny coming
he's
out
having
there.
a tough time.
Yes, indeed. Hasn't quite hit that 6 yet. Can't be as ballsy as you usually want an Abaddon to be. And Poning Claws now, max health, max mana. He's invisible. He's looking for pretty much any kill. And if anybody wants to port bottom and contest this tower for this low health Foxter, I mean, that is a beautiful bait if I have ever seen one. Somebody's definitely going to want to port down here if Foxter stays. Looks like he might actually be rotating out now.
Twatty Cake is being chased down.
Oh, he is indeed. Throws out a boat. Doesn't land, however. Sabi all over him. Looks like Phonics not able to get there in time, however, to guarantee this kill. And Twatty Cakes, that last Geminate attack, not going to be enough to actually finish him off. Wonder just how much help he's getting from that ghost ship movement speed. And now it looks like Foxter, I mean, and Carrig, as well as Poning Claws, just hiding, waiting to see if anybody wants to defend this. But it looks like, more likely than not, this Radiant team just happy to trade these towers.
Yeah. Wow, and if you look at the golden XP graph, this without even taking any towers. They are just so far ahead, almost 7,500 gold advantage, and wow, almost 10k XP advantage for the Dire team.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
So doing very
But
well
they
for
are going to
themselves.
be able to trade tier 1 for tier 1.
And who do you think that
Not
really
too bad.
favors more? I would say, I mean, if anything, Foxter, because of that Moonlight Shadow and this Dire team, probably getting a little bit more out of that than the Radiant, and not to mention Clockwork's ability to initiate, find solo kills. I feel like they're maybe quite a bit better at ganking, and it looks like this Radiant team now maybe trying to make something happen on this tier 2. Varkarian does have Chain Frost, so you can pretty much never team fight this early on, and now we actually have Twatty Cake running in. He's got Ghost Ship. Everything is off of cooldown, so this Radiant team needs to be very careful of where they go.
Yeah, and Valkyrian's not too far away from his mech as well.
Twatty Cake's being super duper ballsy. Right in the middle of 4. There is the dust. It looks like he's gonna fall now. But Poning Claw's coming in, trying to make sure everybody gets away A-OK. Carrick throwing out a disruption on Twatty Cakes. That's Sanity's Eclipse on pretty much nobody. Chain Frost doing some work. Not enough, however. Varkarian doesn't quite have enough mana to throw out any more Frost Blasts. Nobody falling just yet. Twatty Cake's chasing down Sabi. They really do want him. But with Phonix hanging out back, why not just turn around and guarantee this kill? He's not quite 6 yet. They need to see that. He's only level 5. They could get this so easily. Twatty Cake's guaranteeing it. Sabi now trying to get takedown. Twatty Cake's a clutch disruption by Carrick. Not going to be enough, however. And Soulcatcher now is on him. Doesn't matter. Carrick going to fall. Snuggykins now chasing him down. And it looks like those bugs do not eat through a salve. Doesn't matter. He's going to be falling. And that engagement going very nicely for the Radiant team.
They should have waited, because the Radiant team, they had the mech, and Valkyrian was only 100. Oh, he already has the money for the mech. But at the same time, Fox managed to do a little bit of split pushing and take down the tier 2 tower. Yeah, this is what I was talking about. The Dire team, they're not particularly good at taking towers, and this is what I was afraid of. If you cannot keep up the pressure, look at how much time the Radiant team has now to farm. Because he lost a big engagement. When you have no heroes on the map, they're like, hey, we're gonna free farm, and there's nothing you can do. Because your heroes are dead. And by the time you come out, respawn, run to the lane, it just gets harder and harder. Especially if your towers start dropping. The top tier 1, and maybe the next one is mid tier 1, and then bottom tier 1. And suddenly you gotta realize you've lost so much map control. You can no longer TP support, or like, get those fast TPs towards mid and then rotate into ganks. It looks like Final's gonna get hit by a long range arrow. It's gonna be fine. Phonix is right behind.
Those Aphotic shields, of course, do indeed get rid of any stun. Does take care of a lot of debuffs, and now it looks like we're trying to have an engagement here. Poning Claws actually is invis. Doesn't look like any sort of sentry going down. Do they have any dust available? 1 dust on Wind Ranger, 1 dust on, or I should say 2 dusts on Phonix there. So just scouting them out, making sure that everything's going A-OK for them. But doesn't look like they're actually going to make an engagement. And now, with these 5 heroes on the Radiant team mid, they really either need to push this in or find a pick-off, because this is a lot of time for Twatty Cake and Carrick to take this top tower. It looks like they're probably even going to have time to get in here as well. And Varkarian now very far forward. Shackle doesn't latch on anybody. Looks like he's trying to bait out at least a few people for a Chain Frost, but nobody want to do it. Now some TPs in. Phonix in a horrible position. There's the Chain Frost. Everybody getting bounced. Actually only hitting Dragon Knight. That's it. Sanity's Eclipse doing nothing. He doesn't have the intelligence at the moment. Now Kruger in a horrible spot. Looks like the boat is falling. Not going to land on anybody, however. Foxter chasing everybody down. He just got his defusal. Kruger going to fall. Final looks like he is in a horrible spot as well, trying to at least take somebody down with him. Sabi's here to try and guarantee it, though. Can Poning Claws save his buddy with Battery Assault? It looks like they find a Final. Sabi still running for his life, however. So far, a Shadow Demon for 4 is none too bad. It doesn't look like they will be able to find him, however. But a beautiful engagement for this Dire team, and with that, their lead grows even more. Can't quite get him with the cogs, but an arrow flies, and I'm actually wrong. He does get picked off, so that's a full team wipe for this Radiant team. All of them getting killed, and now that's going to make this gold graph 10,000 in favor of the Dire. And experience graph very much the same.
I don't know. The Radiant team just got way too cocky. Not a lineup that's designed to fight this early on. When you pick up Dragon Knight, Weaver, OD, you're not saying, hey, we want to fight early. This should be a lineup that just drags into late game. And it can easily defend towers. You've got the bugs, you've got Wind Ranger's towers. Dude, I'm not even knowing what's Wind Ranger's skill set anymore. I'm just like, did they even change the skill names? No, that's okay, it's staying the same. It looks like Phonix is gonna be able to get away because the arrow has missed. Yeah. Pops his
Oh,
ultimate.
maybe not.
Oh.
Beautiful hook coming in by Poning Claws, and that's going to be at least 2 kills. Looks like Twatty Cake's all over Snuggykins as well. Can Final get out of here? Pops the mech. Sabi is there to try and make something happen. Nothing too much happening, however. Shackle does fly on 2. But so far, that is 2 free kills, and Poning Claws just throwing down some cogs to disrupt whatever he can. And with that, I mean, he's actually fairly rich for himself. Twatty Cakes does have a Shadow Blade and a GG already. You owe me a common item, my friend.
Oh, crap. Man. They got it next game. They have to respect Bandit Clockwork on Pawning Claws, man.
Oh, they got it.
That guy does work. He does so much work on that hero.
Alright, so my choosing or
let's trade.
yours?
I don't know what to say.
Alright, well, thank you everybody for tuning in to this weekly ESPL series, hosted by, of course, myself, Briefcase, and the lovely Mito. And I'm gonna go get myself a common item. There'll be a couple games after that, I feel, but see you guys then.